something hours. The sweat on my back's got my shirt soaked and sour. And oh, it's already gone. Second night's coming and I'm spinning back around. We're all caught up, can't hear or feel the sound. And oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worrying about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. Got time but money's not something that's free. Since the roll of the dice never rolls back to me. You know, it's already gone. A bird in my hand, two cans in the other, start spinning around. Now here comes another, and oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. And all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Whoa, it's already gone. Already gone. It's already gone. Go.
What is up, Jags fans? We are here on a Tuesday night, and things may be looking gloom for some people. If you're a big Jags fan or a big Trevor Lawrence fan or a big fan of winning football, you may not be too excited. But if you are a fan of live shows and if you're a fan of getting your voice out there and letting your opinion be known into the Jags universe, this is the right show for you. If this is your first time here, welcome. And thanks for coming and thanks for watching. This is a fan interactive show. We do live shows. So get in the comments. I try to hit all of them. I want to get your thoughts on all things Jags. Now, obviously, the topic of the day is the Trevor Lawrence hit and getting hit and watching the national media go back and forth on whether the slide was late or it was a dirty hit. Obviously, Al-Shahir got 3-game suspension. We're going to get into all of that, so let me know your thoughts on that. I have some pretty strong thoughts on that as well. I have some clips from the Texans game, although I have to admit I wasn't very motivated clipping the film, but you know me, I sat through it, and I just kind of picked a couple plays here and there that I think are watch-worthy for this show. So we're going to break those down as well. Make sure to follow everything in the video description. There's all kind of stuff in there, so check it out. I don't want to ruin any surprises, but you might be pleasantly surprised at some other projects I've been working on. So check that out in the video description. Follow the Twitter, the Instagram, the TikTok. I'm on TikTok now, Jags United. No big deal. I'm not ashamed. Listen, I'm not embarrassed. Okay, I'm on there. And actually, my TikTok views do great. They do great. So joke's on you if you're laughing at me. But needless to say, let's get to some of these comments, and then I'm going to get to a couple plays that I think are noteworthy. The first one in the chat, guy says, yo, getting sad in here. Well, that's what we always say. And we had some things come up with Club Jaguar where we were fighting, and we just couldn't get along, so we stopped doing Club Jaguar. There's a lot of division between us three. Just kidding. We had some things come up where we couldn't do the show. We all love each other. We're not doing it this week either, but after this week, we'll be back on Club Jaguar. I love those guys with UCF Jaguar as one person, Jordan DeLugo, the other, and myself. Find the one that doesn't belong, and we're on there, so make sure to check it out Wednesday nights. Not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday we'll be on there. I didn't do a show last week. Sue me. Glad y'all are here, though. But yeah, we always say, like, if you're a Jags fan now, consuming Jags content, you're a real one. You're a real one. And I have a feeling that we would get along very well. So glad you're here. Guy, glad that you are here. Sea Breacher says, I'm here for the Andre Cisco slander. Now, I'm going to actually take it a step further. The whole defensive backfield, just pathetic. Just absolutely pathetic. When we take a look at the last drive of the game where the Jags needed to stop the Texans, down 3. Thanks, Cam Little, for missing that kick. We needed a stop. We couldn't get it. We're going to take a look at the defensive play call, how the secondary played it. Not great. Not great. But I don't want to bury the lead there. But, yeah, I get it. I mean, who would have thought? Promoting Antonio Johnson and Andre Cisco with limited film and playing time could have backfired, and that it did. Cy Robin says, what's 9 divided by 3? Well, if I asked Siri, I could probably get an answer. So maybe I'll ask Siri to figure out that answer there. Volkfang channel member says, guys, look at the bright side. Now that we're mathematically eliminated from all playoff contention, we can finally drop any pretense and talk about the draft in the offseason in earnest now. That sounds like you went on ChatGPT and said, what's the bright side of being a Jags fan right now? That's what it sounds like. Yes. I mean, that does beg the question, like, did you want to win that game? I was talking with somebody yesterday, and it's like in the moment you want to win the game. You want to beat the Texans. You want to beat your rival. But then, like, with the loss, it's like, all right, well, now we still got number 1 pick still. Travis Hunter would look really, really nice in a Jags jersey. So, I don't know. Robert Atchert says, F the Texans. That elbow to the head was on purpose. And what's up? Not much. Work's busy, but I had Thanksgiving break. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you got to spend some time with your family. I had a couple days off extra this weekend. Got to hang out with friends and family. It was a lot of fun. I got to say, a lot of fun. I think actually I can comfortable. I'm just now recovering. If you know what I mean. Okay, Siri. All right, Charlie boy. What do you think about the fans throwing stuff at the player? I'm typically somebody who is against that behavior whenever it's happened in the past. I remember when the Jags went and played at Cleveland a long time ago, and the Browns fans were throwing things at Jags players. I think that's actually what made stadiums like stop selling like glass bottles at stadiums, and now they just sell the cans. Most of the time I'm like unacceptable, but that hit was so dirty and egregious that I'm okay with it. And I never thought I would stoop that low, but I also never thought someone would stoop so low to intentionally hurt somebody. And I get it. Like, in the 90s, Ray Lewis was trying to intentionally injure people. Yeah, well, everyone in the 90s has CTE. Okay, so maybe that's not the best comparison. All right, so maybe let's take a look at like the actual sport and all this bull crap about Trevor slid too late. You watch any football game on earth, and there's the quarterbacks that scramble and slide. And 99.99% of the time, the defensive player has no problem avoiding that type of hit. So to sit here and say that Al-Shaair couldn't stop himself, so he's in the 0.0001% of people that were unable to not directly target a quarterback's head and neck area. That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't care if he would have slid right in front of him, a yard away. You're an NFL football player. The rules have been set. You cannot do that type of hit. And I don't want to hear any crap about that. It doesn't help that he's the dirtiest player in the league. He's been fined a bunch of times. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. Here's a hypothetical for you. Okay. Let's do a little brain mind experiment. Okay. Instead of that being Trevor Lawrence, imagine if that was Patrick Mahomes. Imagine if that same thing happened to Patrick Mahomes. The U.S. Congress would get involved. Roger Goodell would personally go and make an announcement. It would turn the league upside down. Al-Shaair would probably never play a snap again in the NFL. But because it was Trevor Lawrence, and it was because it was the Jaguars, we have this narrative that it's football. When Tom Brady went on whatever show he was on, Cowherd, whatever it was, and said that quarterbacks are runners and they have to learn to protect them. Tom Brady was the most protected quarterback to ever play the game. The fact that those words could come out of his mouth was disgusting. The most protected guy. I've seen quarterbacks release the ball. As they're releasing the ball, Trevon Walker hits him in the shoulder and he gets a roughing the passer. Absolutely ridiculous. It was intentionally trying to injure him. And just think for one freaking second if that was Patrick Mahomes that happened to, and how the league would react, how the NFL would react. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The narrative that people are saying that he slid too late is absolutely disgusting, because we watch football 5 days a week, and NFL players at every level, high school, college, and pros, have no problem not doing that. So to sit here and tell me that he couldn't help it, it's quite frankly disgusting. I'm backed up on comments, but that's what yes, Texans clown. Yeah, and I get it. Protect your guy. Protect your guy. I get it. And listen, and I will, on that note of protecting your guy, I will say, let's see here. I don't really want to. I don't really want to watch this, because I don't want to see Trevor getting absolutely destroyed. But we'll watch it one time just for the sole fact of at least some guys. Dude, I'm not going to sit here and play it back 100 times, because we've all seen it. I don't enjoy seeing Trevor Lawrence knocked out. He's too good of a guy. He has too much character and integrity for us to sit here and watch him laid down on the ground. But what I will say, Evan Ingram, so much respect for Evan Ingram. My boy didn't even hesitate. Look, Tim Jones is here looking out for Trevor, which respect. He's looking out for Trevor. That's his guy. I get that. I'm not blaming him. But who I have mad respect for is this dude's on a mission. Absolutely freaking not. I had so much respect for this right here. Bam. Okay. Brenton Strange comes off the bench. I gained a lot of respect for Brenton Strange here too. I gained a lot of respect for Brenton Strange, because he also was no, you're not doing that to my quarterback. Comes in, bam, gets to the sideline. Anton Harrison comes in. Brandon Sheriff comes in. And what's crazy is you could actually see the level of intensity elevate from this Jaguars team after this play, which obviously that's going to happen. But why can't you play with that intensity every week? He's on the Jags sideline here. I just pray to God that someone got some shots in on him that could be even close to what Trevor Lawrence had to endure on this play. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had a concussion before. I have. Not great. Terrible feeling. You feel like your head is split open. You feel like your brain is spewing all over the ground. And the fact that he was knocked out, thank God he looked like he was okay on the cart. And the thing is concussions happen so often in the NFL that people like often don't realize or don't know that like recovering from a concussion is not a great experience. Like you have to like you can't be around bright light, you can't be around loud sounds. You have to like be careful falling asleep. These are all real things you have to do when you're recovering from a concussion. It's not like I'm injured, put some ice on it. Like I hope they're just like you. Al Shahir has got to be so freaking lucky that Cam Robinson is no longer on this team. These are the moments, and we could talk bad about Cam Robinson all the time, and I'm sorry that I'm fired up, but we can talk about Cam Robinson all we want about this and that and overpaid. If Cam Robinson's on this team, Al Shahir might be dead. He might be dead. Cam Robinson, I have no doubt in my mind, would have murdered Al Shahir on the field after this play. I've seen him get out in space and block. I've seen what he does to people. I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know if I was going to bring this up or not. Dewey Wingard was trying to play peacemaker and break up the fight. I don't know how I feel about that. And again, this is counterintuitive to everything I've ever said and believed about integrity and life lessons. I get that. I don't know how to feel. Thank God he looks concussed, but at least he's like alive. Gets the penalty. And then another person I gained respect for, a guy that we've been dogging all the time. Yeah, you're ejected, bud. And can we just I tweeted this. The irony, this is like a $700 elbow brace designed to protect your upper arm bones, your lower arm bones, and your elbow joint. $700 brace. And you're going to lead with that to go to a quarterback's head. Brandon Sheriff says, all right, bud, I ain't done with you. I am not done with you. Brian Thomas Jr. is getting in on it. Again, these are the moments. Look at this. Walker Little trying to play peacekeeper. Get the freak out of here, Walker Little. Brenton Strange trying to get some more. Like you saw who the real ones were. For once in our freaking lives this season, we got to see which Jaguar players have a little bit of dog in them. All of the guys that were actively trying to get back at Al Shahir, that's who I want on the team next year. Those guys. RM Skip, glad you're here. Been a while. Tell me the truth. You plan? No. Absolutely not. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him at all. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see it. I don't see an interview. I don't want to see a press conference. I don't want to see a Marissa Lawrence Instagram story. I don't want to see any of that. I don't want to see any of that. I want this dude go get this surgery that you were going to get. Get your mind right. Figure out why you had the inconsistency and why you had a terrible game when you came back from injury. Get it all figured out. Let Shad Khan do whatever he's going to do with the coach in the front office, and let's get Trevor back. Don't slide. Davis, I know you. I'm not reading that. Duval Dive. What's up, Travis? How's it going? I miss Travis. I miss Travis a lot. Says you're a real one, Jason. Thank you. Travis, you are too. And I think that's why we get along so well, is because we both identify that about each other. First seed in both my fantasy leagues. Can't wait for the season to end. I'm like hovering in all my leagues. I got Patrick Mahomes. I took him high. Tyreek Hill. I got him in a lot of leagues. So I'm just now like kind of coming back. How much more, dude? Exactly. How much more time does a guy need to stop and avoid a sliding quarterback? Do people expect Trevor to slide 10 yards away from the defender? You can't make the argument that he should have slid sooner, because We all watch a billion football games a year, and this never happens. And quarterbacks slide way later. That was a reasonable slide for football. We're not blind people. We're not dumb. We watch football. And I go back to my main point. If you replace Trevor Lawrence with Patrick Mahomes, Al Shahir never touches the football field again. U.S. senators are launching an investigation into the Texans organization. Taylor Swift is going to write a song about Al Shahir. That would be the repercussions is if that was Patrick Mahomes and not Trevor Lawrence. But because it was Trevor Lawrence and because it was the Jags, it could go either way. It's disgusting. Belichick and Travis Hunter coming to Duval in 2025. I'd be okay with that. I've convinced a lot of people to make Belichick the GM and to make Trevor Lawrence or Mike Vrabel the head coach. Oh, Bill Belichick wasn't a GM. Oh, really? Because he's the greatest coach GM combo of all time. He has more Super Bowls than anybody. He drafted all the guys. He drafted Tom Brady. Not a good GM. He drafted the greatest quarterback of all time. So he got lucky. He's not a good GM. At what point does your argument fall on itself that he's not a good GM when he has built the greatest rosters of all time? Do you not remember that Patriots team that lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl? Probably one of the greatest teams of all time. Someone didn't draft that team for him. Also, I talked with my Jags fan coworker just before the game. I wanted to win because the last 6 games were winnable for us, and you only need the Texans to drop like 3 games. Yeah, I kind of wanted them to win too. But it's just like kind of there's a little solstice in the fact that like because they did lose, it's okay. Preach. Thank you, Robert. Lugs, channel member. I'm a moderate, and I think he should be locked in prison until the end of time. It was so egregious. So absolutely egregious of a hit. Like, I'm going to be saying the same points over and over again. I'm so sorry. But we watch football so much, and that hit never happens. It never happens. Like, that doesn't happen on accident. These are world-class athletes with world-class reaction time. And he couldn't like hit him not in the head. Arm skip. Don't often see someone called me out. Someone called me out about Jags gear on YouTube on Club Jaguar. It was like, Jason never wears Jag stuff. And I was like, all right, I'll wear Jag stuff for you on my next show. What do you want me to do? I'm wearing Jag stuff. I promise. I know I'm gonna have to do a lot of convincing here. I promise I'm a Jags fan. I promise. You just have to believe me. You have to believe me. I like cotton shirts. Like, see, this is a dry fit. I'm not a huge dry fit fan. Maybe that's weird. I'm not a huge dry fit fan. I like cotton t-shirts. They're just very comfortable. I wear cotton t-shirts to the gym. I wear them to work. They're the Thuggins from this point forward. I hope we get another chance to play Al Shahir next year. Jason's preaching like it's Easter Sunday right here. Hey, you don't see me preach. I can preach now. He was fencing. So, do you know why Jarian Jones got ejected? So, what I heard was, and again, this is just hearsay, apparently at some point he threw a punch at somebody. And so he got ejected for throwing a punch. Didn't see it, wasn't on TV, but that's what I heard, was that he threw a punch. Sign Brian Thomas Jr. to a 10-year deal. And, like, he had a great game, but he had some drops in this game. He had 2 huge drops in this game, like one for a touchdown, but doesn't change your point. But, yes. And, like, the fact that that either Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones could hit him on those deep post routes was – this plays good here. I mean, this was like, I don't understand why we don't – like, I don't understand why we're this late in the season and we're just now doing this stuff. Like, why are we just now running this mesh concept? And so if you don't know, it's kind of a designed pick play, but everybody runs it, okay? We're in empty formation, so obviously no backs here. We got quads to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Single out here. Tight formation. You're just going to see a mesh concept. A mesh concept is just like 2 drags into each other. And Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be – actually, that's not Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be wide open. Like, why did we not see this play earlier in the year. Like, why does it take this late in the season to run this play? Fans have been clamoring to get Brian Thomas Jr. the ball, and the only way they've been trying to do it until now is deep shots. And then they're like, oh, let's give it to him on a drag and see what happens. Would you look at that? It's the easiest play in football. It's the easiest play in football. Another play. We've been trying to be like, hey, Doug Peterson, let's get a little more creative. Offense is boring. It's stale. Let's get a little more creative here, okay? It takes this late in the season and Mac Jones as quarterback to run this play. Where has this play been? Where the heck has this play been all year? It's mind-blowing. Did they just install it this week for only Mac Jones to run? I guess the secret is, in order to run this shovel pass play that every good NFL team runs, Elijah Cooks has to be in the game. That has to be the prerequisite for when we start getting creative, is when we have Elijah Cooks in the game. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh, I love to see Jason fired up. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. My blood pressure's getting a little high here, boys. Brian Thomas Jr. is, of course, a dog. Made me love Brian Thomas Jr. even more. And I know it was hard to even love him more than we do. We sure see the real dogs come out. And yes, we need this ruthless aggression without things like this happening consistently. Very well said, King David. Cy Robinson says, what do you think of the what? I don't love it. Don't love it. And I know you could throw the pressure stats and the sack stats at me. Okay, fine. But we're just going to probably be in the same situation that we were in when we just anointed Antonio Johnson, the starting safety, without really doing much. And we're going to be like, oh, wait, maybe he wasn't that good. I don't know. I don't love it. And I'm willing to be wrong on this. I am. I'm willing to eat crow on this. I'm willing to say he's good. He's a franchise left tackle, but I don't love it. To answer your question. I've seen a lot of Walker Little. Don't love it. Kyle Simmons says, I understand not wanting to see Lawrence the rest of the year, but it might be tough on his confidence for this to be his last memory. Yeah, I get that, but you're getting paid too much money for something like this to affect your confidence, which then affects your play. You're getting paid way too much money. And that's the reality of it. And it's a sad reality. And it's why you see people being a little more critical of Trevor Lawrence, is because now that he's making top money in the NFL, when he has these inconsistent throws or games, like he had some bad throws this game. Like he did not look good, even before the hit, obviously. And it's now like, dude, you're getting paid a lot of money to be making those throws. And every quarterback has those. They do. You're right. Even elite quarterbacks overthrow and misfire. They do. But it's kind of becoming a bigger issue with Trevor. I'm more concerned about Trevor than I've ever been. I am. Like in all of his years in Jacksonville, I'm the most concerned I am about him right now. And there's not much we can do about it. But I am. LOL. Bountygate 2.0. What's up, Jags United? What's up, Jaggernaut? Houston Texans organization is disgusting. Hearing D'Amico on the GM stance is unreal. No, I know. You're right. Timmy Devil says we are bad. Can't argue that. We have 2 wins. Bill's only weakness is drafting a wide receiver early. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he's got other weaknesses too. I mean, he does. But, I mean, we're going to dissect every pick he's ever made. How about we look at his wins and losses? How about that? Can we look at his wins and losses? Oh, it's only because of Tom Brady. He drafted Tom Brady. He can only win with Tom Brady. He had 2 seasons without Tom Brady where he had 10 wins and 11 wins with Mac Jones and Matt Castle. Jason Belichick is 117 years old. I want a young coach we can have the next 10, 15 years. Okay, we'll make him the GM and make Vrabel the head coach. How about that? We need a culture guy. I mean, I firmly believe we need a culture guy. The fact that we saw a different Jaguars team after the Trevor Lawrence hit because they were fired up speaks to the fact that our current coach can't fire them up. They can't. I want a Dan Campbell in here. I want a Mike Tomlin in here. I want a guy that steps in and changes the culture immediately. I get the want for an offensive guy, a young offensive guy. I get that. And again, I like Mike LaFleur over in San Fran, LA. I'd be cool with that. But I think we have talent. I think we need a culture guy. And I'm just being honest. Leading with your elbow is not a football tackle. No one teaches that. Great point, Timmy. Great point. Great point. How did that hit not fire up the Jags defense? Like, how are they not like, well, now it's CJ's turn? Well, let's take a look at what it did do. Because after that, we had this play. Now, let me draw your attention to our lovely defensive backs. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 defensive backs. Okay. For 1, 2, 3 wide receivers and a running back. Okay. And they're on the 22-yard line. So it's not like they're close and they're going for like a blitz to get a turnover. It seems like, and again, I'm hesitant to blame Savage here, but it does seem like everybody's playing man besides him. So everyone's going to be manned up. You got man here. You got man here. He's going to go over the top, play middle of the field free safety. And for some reason, Savage is going to follow a man that's already has an assignment, realize he's wrong, and leave a guy wide open. So we're good. We got a man here. We got a man here. He obviously should have this man, but decides to just go this way. Now, is there a chance they rolled into... Is there a chance they should pre-snap one high and then went to a cover 2 and it was really his fault? I think that's Darby. Maybe. Regardless, bad play, not on the same page. Give him a touchdown. Like, okay, it happens once. It's not a big deal. I mean, you could maybe point to a blown coverage every once in a while in an NFL game. So, but earlier in the game. And here's the thing. This wasn't even Darby's guy. This was not Darby's guy. Like, this is why you kind of have to, again, not talking down to anybody, but this is kind of why you have to, if you kind of know what you're looking at so you can assign blame correctly. This is a cover 3. And even if it's a cover 1, you still have a 1 middle of the field Andre Cisco in free safety look here. Andre Cisco chooses to bite down on this drag route, this deep drag, instead of getting his threat here, which is a post. So even if this is man, okay, again, we don't know. Could be cover 3. We'll back it up. We'll back it up for you here. So your options are for the play. Maybe the end zone will be better. Is the end zone better? No. Okay. So your options are, it's either a cover 3, deep third, or it's a man where, regardless, he still has middle of the field free safety. He chooses to bite on the deep dig, which he does all the time. Wrong, Cisco, that's wrong. Cisco, you are wrong here. You are letting a guy run right past you, and you flipped your hips to where he is. Darby's like, bro, watch him when he gets up. What are we doing? If Darby is yelling at you for poor coverage, you may need to reevaluate whether or not you are a defensive back or not. How did that hit? Yeah, we got that one ready. Cotton shirts. Cotton shirts are where it's at. 100%. You gotta be careful when you. My dryer gets really hot, so like I'll wash it. I wash my clothes. I know some of y'all maybe not believe that. I wash my clothes. I throw them in the dryer, and my dryer gets so freaking hot it shrinks all my cotton shirts. Just if it's a nice cotton shirt, I cannot put that bad boy in the dryer. That thing will just shrink. That's why I'm wearing mediums all the time. Okay. It's not because I like to wear mediums. It's because I can't afford to buy new shirts all the time. And I throw them in the dryer and they shrink. Fearful Wish says, yo. What up, Fearful Wish? Lug says, Foye had the best response to Shire's dirty move. He went super low to get Lawrence to begin with. Either way, it would have been somewhat of a dirty play. Yeah, exactly. He's a dirty player. Did you change the background? I could have sworn there was a Matt Jones jersey back there. It's been a while, Sea Breacher. I've had this set up here for a while, and I swear I have framed jerseys. And I have my buddy who's like super into social media, YouTube content creation. I grew up with him. He's in town. He's been in town for a couple weeks, and he was just like roasting me on my setup. He's like, "Dude, you gotta upgrade your background." And I was like, "I need help, dude. I'm not. Listen, I can watch football all day. I can break down X's and O's all day. I can talk all day. One thing that I cannot do is interior design. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Part of life is knowing your weaknesses and your shortcomings. I don't know. He was like, give me some ideas. He's like, oh, you need an LED light that's like on the ground and like comes up with a certain color. I was like, dude, my brother in Christ, I do not know much about interior design. Cross mesh was our bread and butter in 22. It was. Think back to, you remember the Blake Bortles days? Dude, Blake Bortles got a whole new contract on cross mesh. I think Doug being harder on Jerry than he was the Texans is very telling. This guy has zero fire. I'm over Doug. And I've defended Doug more than anybody. I'm over him. It took the Jaguars to have week 12 bye to remember the 2022 part of our playbook. Yeah, don't get Travis started. Travis is, I will give Travis, he's been entrenched and he's been right about what's need to happen for a long time. The mesh concept was the only thing Blake Bortles could hit. We ran it all the time. It's true. Twitch after? I haven't been on Twitch very much. I've been playing COD though. COD 6. I'm kind of a demon. On COD 6. I'm not going to lie. Maybe I'll do it just for fun. Should the Jags pull New York Giants move and tell T-Law to get walking? Davis, you're losing me with your comments here. You're losing your credibility. What are we gonna do? His contract hasn't even kicked in yet. He's getting paid $500 million. I heard Trent Baalke paid him to hit Trevor. Isaiah Jones, Walker Little performed better than Antonio Johnson, in my opinion. I know they're different positions, but Antonio just hasn't had the same effect as Little. Not saying Little is a Pro Bowler either. I see what you're saying. I did compare them. So maybe that was a false comparison. I'll take that. I just can't get over like Trent Baalke is so quick to promote and pay these guys that haven't shown they can do it. They just haven't. I would love to bring in Vrabel. Me too. Says organization is disgusting for defending their player and speaking their truth. Jags fans so sensitive, man. Get your soft coach and arm length loving GM to grow some balls and heart. The organization is disgusting for defending their player. How many Texans players did you see run over and defend Al-Shaair? Maybe one. Do you know why? Because everybody knows that hit was dirty and egregious. Even the Texans players. There's a mutual respect. Do you know what professional athletes say to each other in passing? They don't say, have a good day. They don't say, have a good season. They don't say, ball out. You know what they say? Consistently, they say, stay healthy to each other on other teams. They say, stay healthy, man. Stay healthy. That's the tagline amongst these NFL players because they understand a mutual respect. When you hit a player like that, you're breaching that. These teams aren't loyal to players. I'll never get mad at a player for chasing the bag. I'll never get mad at Calvin Ridley for going to the Titans. I'll never get mad at these players for doing what's best for them because these teams aren't loyal to these players. They'll cut them in a second. They'll trade them in a second. These players know that. These NFL players know that they have to make as much money as they can for themselves and their families. There's a mutual respect. And the reason why you didn't see a single Texan player run over to the Jags sideline and help him was because they knew it was egregious and dirty. Absolutely egregious and dirty. And the reason why he got a 3-game suspension without pay because the NFL knew. And if you read that letter from the NFL that John Runyon wrote, he laid out very well why that hit was unacceptable. I'll take John Runyon's, NFL legend's, opinion on the hit over D'Amico Ryans and a Texans GM. We need a poltergeist. He was going for Trevor's chest. He was trying to... Listen, it said, then why doesn't this happen once a game? Why doesn't that happen once a game? With all the running quarterbacks and scrambling quarterbacks and design quarterback runs, why don't we see that happen once a game? Why don't we see it happen once a season? Why don't we see it happen once every 5 seasons? You don't see it because it's egregious and dirty. That's why you don't see it. I want a future coach too. Imagine having Mike Tomlin and never having a losing season. I'll take that for about 20 years to wash out the 20 years of bad. I get that. I kind of talk about this. Cyclops I don't love it, but I'm willing to be proved wrong. And again, I get it. The pressure stats, the sack rate, I get all that. Just left tackle is just such an important position. It just really is. Both plays were cover 3 blown coverages by the safeties. Thank you, Duval Dive. Thank you. Culture coach. I love it. Cisco's been incredibly disappointing this season. Yeah. Bad time for him, too, in his contract year. Cisco is bad. He has been hiding his football IQ this whole time. It's hard to hide something you don't have. How about that? Glad we didn't pay him. Yeah, definitely. If Cisco were playing better, he would have got extended already, but at this point, he can kick rocks. I agree. Teams make Cisco look bad with silly stuff. Yeah, he can't cover. Because our team is disciplined and isn't storming the football field to fight. Is that what it is? John Ryan talking about being dirty when he was one of the dirtiest. He had one hit that people reference. I know what hit you're talking about on when he lunged at a player. Nothing like what Alshire did. I appreciate you defending him. By no means do I want you, am I calling you any name for defending your guy. I'm not. Listen, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're defending him. I just think with a little bit more of critical thinking and rational thinking. And again, let's just take this point back to my very, very first point. If that was Patrick Mahomes and not Trevor Lawrence, what would the response have been? And if it's different, why? Why is it different? Well, because Patrick Mahomes is the face of the league. Okay? Being the face of the league doesn't change the fact that it's dirty and egregious. It doesn't. If that happened to Stroud, what do you think the so-called... Yeah, exactly. United, Trevor knew he was hurt and the team wanted him to feel their aggression and think twice about running. They both knew where the first down was, and Trevor was using the slide to try to get it. That's not how the slide works. Again, I appreciate you bringing critical thinking. That's not how the slide works. How the slide works is as soon as you begin your slide, you are down. You don't get the 3 yards you slide. So he would have been short of the first down if he had started his slide before the first down. That rule is in place by the NFL to prevent those types of hits. You don't get the extra slide yards. You're down right when you start sliding so that a defender doesn't hit you to try to prevent you from sliding for the first. So I appreciate the argument, but that's a fallacy. Doesn't make any sense because that's not how the rules are. Who cares? It's not worth talking about. 3 games is 3 games. Dwell on that. Nobody is happy Trevor got hurt, but Aziz is one of the best guys in the league. Mahomes is known to fake slide, so I don't know, bro. The fact that Mahomes is known to fake slide that's straw manning the argument. That's changing the argument. The question is, if Aziz would have done that to Mahomes, what would the response have been? We didn't get the first down, dude. It was like 3rd and 2. LMAO, he has a history of dirty plays, and you're calling him one of the best guys in the league. Get out of here. Now, I do think he is a good football player, but you can be a good football player and extremely dirty. You don't get fined. He's going to get fined for this one. So you don't get fined 3 times in a season for unnecessary roughness if you are not a dirty player. This one just pissed me off too. I mean, so this is the last drive of the game. You got to stop the Texans to get the ball back. Okay, defense has got to stop it. So the play before this, Josh Allen makes a great play. Gain of 0, gain of 1, maybe. 2nd and long, 2nd and 9, right here. Why the hell are the Jags playing? It's 2nd and 9. You have to get a stop to get the ball back. You have to get a stop to get the ball back. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are in a cover 2. It's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. If you don't know, cover 2 is not great against the run. If you're trying to stop the run, you want everybody in the box. And now imagine if you had this safety rolled down to right here. Imagine what this play would look like if you had the safety right there. Texans do a good job of blocking it up. Great job. Unfortunately, there's a wide lane a semi-truck could drive through to run, and your safety is coming from 12 yards away to make a stop when you have to get a stop on the run game. Everybody should be fired for this right here. When this call came over the headset, that every coach has a headset on, and we're going to play a cover 2, 14 yards off the line of scrimmage when it's 2nd and 9, and you know that they're running the ball. Hey, buddy, how about stand right here? They get a first down. First down here wins the game. The Jags get a little smarter. They're going to run one high, so they're going to bring everybody in the box. Strength of the field is to the right, so they have their strong side unit over here. They got 1, 2, 3 DBs here. You got your linebacker. You got 1 DB to this side. Don't love this call here at all. Essentially, the Jags are guessing that they're going to try to do an outside zone to the left. That's what they're doing. I mean, it's just you got to believe me. The way they have everyone set up here, he's going to set the edge. He's going to get in this gap. He's going to fill. He's going to fill. They're just gambling on an outside zone, even maybe an inside zone to the strong side of the field. What do the Texans do? Pre-snap motion, toss it to the weak side of the field. Got a hat on a hat. Nobody wins at the point of attack. Nobody gets off a block. Ball game. Andre Cisco, feel free to knife up into the running lane and get involved in the play. Feel free. Feel free. You don't have to. You don't have to. You're making money. You're a pro. It's all good. If you want to just on the most important play of the game, if you want to just not touch a single player, that's fine. You can do that if you want. It's all good. It's all good. Ryan Nielsen could pack his bags too. Not that I haven't said clean house many times. Carson Shack. What's up, Carson? Doesn't matter where he slid. Dude's a scumbag and has a highlight reel of dirty plays. There's no defending him. Then he proceeds to try to fight fans and our guys knowing he did. I wish he would have fought Brandon Sheriff. Brandon Sheriff would have whooped his ass. Nielsen is almost the smooth brain DC I may have never seen. At this point, Wingard might as well be a starter at safety. I'm not reading Sed's comment. Said, I appreciate you're here. It just, he does aim. Listen, it's, even if you want to say he doesn't aim to take players out, he has a history of losing control of his emotions and punching people on the sideline and hitting people late. So he obviously has no control. So we're going to cherry pick this one moment and say he had control and just messed up on the dirtiest play the NFL has seen this year. It's not a coincidence, dude. Listen, my grandma used to say, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. If you have a history of dirty plays and you do the dirtiest play in the NFL, you're probably a dirty player. You can defend him all you want. Like I appreciate you defending him. I do. But you really have no argument. Because if you had an argument, you could point to that situation happening at least one time in the last 5 years. And you can't. You can't. So you can't sit here and tell me it was an accident when it's not just one game a week. There's 16 games a week for 5 years. This hasn't happened. Probably longer than that. Not to mention college, where it also doesn't happen. Not to mention high school games, which I go to a lot, also doesn't happen. So there's no defending it. There's no logic. If you are a critical thinker, there's no logic to defend it. And the NFL feels the same way. It's not just me. Big ups, everyone. What's up, SR? Lead with your elbow into discussion. And what's so cheesy, dude, he's wearing that $800 elbow brace to prevent an injury, to then go on and injure somebody. I'm talking to chat. Okay, that's fine. Again, Seth, I'm glad you're here. Listen, part of critical thinking and part of being a debate is you have to have people that'll debate the other side. And I'm glad and I appreciate that you're here. I just don't agree with you. Jags versus Texans next year will be a movie. I hope so. Davis Humphrey. All love, Jason. Just trying to bring in some comedy with Danny Dimes comparison. I'll probably be on staff with Bulls High School soon. Oh, look at this guy. Said it's time for bed. You ain't winning this argument. Said my brother, he launched at him and led with his elbow. There's no talking about where the elbow went and where he slid. He lunged at Trevor's head with an elbow brace. To be fair, I'll show his comment. I'm not going to read it, but I'll show it, to be fair. On a positive note, Chase on had a career game. Oh, that's got to be, Murtaza, that's got to be the comment of the day, and that's got to be where we end it. It's got to be where we end it. That's it. Fired up. I was fired up tonight, boys. Appreciate y'all being here. Hate to see it. I just hate it for Trevor because those are the types of hits that, and I'm praying this doesn't happen. Those are the types of hits that lead to long-term brain damage for NFL players. That's the bottom line. And you see, and listen, I'm fortunate enough to where I get to be around a lot of NFL players and former NFL players. And a lot of these guys that were known for their head hunting, big hits in the 90s, they're not right. They're not right in the head. They have serious brain damage and they struggle to function in society. I know a very prominent NFL player who was a headhunter in the 90s that has to pay for a full-time babysitter to follow him around because he's got severe brain damage. And I get that we want the NFL to be hard-nosed. It's a violent game. They're getting paid a lot of money. I get all that. But if you can prevent these types of things from happening, then do it. And like I said, There's a reason why you don't see these hits happen anymore. There's a reason why he got ejected immediately. There's a reason why he got a 3-game suspension. There's a reason why the Jags tried to fight him. There's a reason why it went viral with the national media with defending one side to the other. There's a reason. Because it was dirty, it was egregious, and there's no place for that in football anymore. There's not. These guys are professional athletes. There's no place for that. And we're all praying for Trevor to get better. I don't want to see you the rest of the year. Don't want to see you. Get better. Rest up. Don't quit football, please. That's all I can say. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all being here. Make sure to follow everything in the video description. Make sure to be looking out. I'm going to try to do a show Friday. That's the plan. It's always the plan. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but that's okay. That's what we do around here. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys very soon. And until then, as always, go Jags.